Hello, today I want to talk about sketchbooks. These are two of my sketchbooks, but they're not really the sketchbooks that I work with on an everyday basis. For my everyday practice, I work with this. Welcome to Autumn River Designs. My name is Holly. This is the Strathmore 400 series sketchbook. It's about 5.5 by 8.5 inches. It's my working sketchbook. It's made for pencil. The paper is fairly thin. It's not something I would use any kind of water-based media with. I use it for roughing out ideas, working out details on drawings, figuring out how I'm going to illustrate something. It's basically my nitty-gritty get work done book. This sketchbook is not the type of sketchbook that you would do a flip through with. It's a mess. I have all kinds of notes and scribbles, and sometimes there's drawings and sometimes there's really rough sketches. It just depends on what I'm working. So how I did this was I picked out 4 different projects that I was working on, and I thought that I would share those with you so I can show you how I work. Maybe this is how you do too. It would be nice to share something like that. Let's see here. I'm gonna move the pencils. Things like this. The paper is, like you can see, it's fairly thin. It's definitely just made for pencil, and pencil is the way I rough out things out. It's the way I've done it for years. This little stylized owl's had quite a journey. Started off with this sketch. I think it was part of a possible Christmas card I was working on. I wanted to do something more with him, so I came up with this next, more of a landscape sketch, landscape illustration, which was this one right here. But when you see the original watercolor that I came up with, that is a totally different owl. I made the watercolor larger than the sketch, kind of moved things out a little bit, but I am truly happy with the way the owl came out anyway. This is an example where I think the painting that came from the sketch actually is simplified, and I actually think it came out better than the sketch itself. I think the sketch ended up almost being too busy. I had a Luna moth that was on my garage, and I thought that was just absolutely beautiful. I haven't seen that many of them, and I was just fascinated by the color. But I ended up putting trees here and like a landscape, and I was going to have a road coming through here. And that's not what I ended up doing. So I like the way the original painting came out. I did the Luna and the moon in watercolor, and the rest of it is done in gouache. And I really was happier the way it came out. This was a Christmas card that I worked on a couple years ago. The biggest problem I had was with the arm. I had to use a piece of tracing paper, and so that I could move the arm back and forth so I could figure out exactly where I wanted it to go. And there was also a tracing of a corgi because the corgi kept moving back and forth, but in the final edition, he ended up being close to Santa Claus. So what I ended up working on was an oil painting, and this is what it ended up looking like. I would think about the only change from the sketch that I just showed you was put a cardinal at the top of the cane. Otherwise, I think it's pretty much as I had on the sketch. Once I'm done with the painting, my husband takes the card, puts it into Photoshop, and this is the final product. Here's the Christmas card, start to finish. These are poppies from my yard, and this is the act of observation. It's just recording what you see in either a detailed drawing or a rough sketch. I'll probably work on something later this winter. This was the watercolor that I came up with afterwards. And because I love to draw in pencil, I love to do detailed drawings like this. I figure it's like mental health. It just quiets the mind.